My name is Jack Turner, and I've learned something about people who are obsessed with perfection. They don't improve things, they erase anything that doesn't fit. Silver Creek Estates didn't grow naturally. It was designed, every house placed with intention, every street aligned, every detail controlled. But the one thing they couldn't design was the land around it. That part already existed, and that's where my property came in. My land sat just beyond their ridge road, high enough to overlook the valley, old enough to exist long before their HOA ever showed up. And along the edge of it ran a line of hedges. Not decorative, not modern, just natural growth that had been shaped over years. They were thick, dense, and tall enough to break the view from the road. To me, they were privacy. To Karen, they were a problem. Because that ridge road wasn't just a road to her, it was her control point. Every house along it paid extra for that view. Every resident expected it to stay perfect, and Karen made sure it did, or at least, she tried to. The first time she approached me, she came with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "You should really consider trimming those hedges," she said. I didn't stop working. Why? "They interfere with the scenic view." I nodded slowly. "That's what they're there for." She paused. That answer didn't fit her script. "This is a protected scenic corridor," she said. I turned toward her. "Not on my land." That was the first time she realized I wasn't going to cooperate. And for someone like her, that was a problem. A few days later, the letter came. Official HOA notice, neatly printed, signed, stamped. It listed my hedges as a violation, obstruction, non-compliance, aesthetic damage, and of course, a fine if I didn't fix it. I read it once, then put it aside, because it didn't matter. I wasn't part of their HOA, never had been, and they had no authority over my land, so I ignored it. And that's when Karen made the decision that changed everything. Because people like her don't stop when they're ignored. They escalate. It happened while I was away. Midday, no warning. No notice when I came back. The first thing I noticed was the silence. The wind moved differently. The ridge looked open to open. I stepped out of the truck slowly, walked toward the edge, and then I saw it. The hedges were gone. Every single one. Not trimmed. Not reduced. Removed. The ground was ripped open where the roots had been pulled out. Branches scattered across the dirt. Leaves crushed into the soil. It wasn't landscaping. It was removal. Clean. Intentional. I stood there for a long time, because moments like that don't need noise. They need understanding. And I already knew exactly who had done it. Karen didn't even try to deny it. She showed up that evening like she was expecting approval. "You're welcome," she said. I looked at her. "For what?" "For fixing your hedge problem." I glanced at the empty ridge, then back at her. "You trespassed. It was necessary." That word again. Necessary. People use it when they don't want to admit they crossed a line. "You removed something that didn't belong to you," I said calmly. "It affected the HOA." I nodded once. "All right." That was all I said because I didn't need to argue. She had already given me everything I needed, proof. The next morning I started making calls. Surveyor, contractor, steel supplier. No rush, no anger. Just precision, because this wasn't about reacting. This was about building something she couldn't undo. The survey team came first. Marked every inch of my boundary. Bright stakes. Clear lines. Legal confirmation. Karen showed up halfway through. "What are you doing now?" she demanded. "Making things clear," I said. "You already know your property line. I want it documented." She didn't like that, because once something is documented, it stops being an argument. The next day, the first container arrived. 40 feet long, rust-covered, heavy enough that once it was placed, it wasn't moving. It rolled into position exactly where the hedges used to stand. Karen came running before it was even set down. "You can't put that there." I stepped down from the truck. "Watch me, this is a scenic area." I pointed at the ground. "This is private land that's going to ruin everything." I looked at her. "You already did that." She froze, because now she understood. This wasn't about the hedges anymore. This was about consequences. By the end of the day, 3 containers stood in place, perfectly aligned, blocking the view completely. The next day, more arrived, stacked, bolted, reinforced, turning into a solid wall. Not temporary, not adjustable, permanent. Karen tried everything after that. Complaints,